Okay, welcome. You're here because you want the real insights, right? The stuff that actually works without all the noise.
Exactly. You want to get the core knowledge and just, well, feel like you understand it properly.
So today we're doing a deep dive into something pretty crucial. How folks over 65 can really boost their longevity, their well-being.
And the really fascinating part, I think, is how simple morning habits, things taking just minutes, can make such a huge difference. We're talking years and quality of life, too.
Yeah, we've been looking at what experts are saying, digging into some YouTube channels focused specifically on senior health, longevity, that kind of thing.
Our mission here is basically to pull out the most powerful, the most actionable bits from these morning routines they recommend.
Things you can use like tomorrow morning.
Right. And what keeps coming up is that it's not about massive changes. It's these small, smart adjustments in the morning.
Understanding how your body changes overnight and just helping it along.
Precisely. So let's get into the first one. Super fundamental, hydration.
And this is about the very first minute you're awake, isn't it?
The absolute first 60 seconds. See, the experts point out that after sleeping, you're actually pretty dehydrated.
Even if you don't feel thirsty.
Yeah, you lose maybe half a liter of water just breathing, sweating a bit overnight.
Okay.
And the dehydration, especially if you're over 65, it has real effects. Your blood gets a bit thicker.
Which means more work for the heart, right? More pressure on blood vessels.
Exactly. And the data, well, it's quite concerning. The risk for stroke, for heart attack, it peaks in those first 1 or 2 hours after waking up.
Wow. Okay. And places like Harvard, the Cleveland Clinic, they see this connection clearly.
Very clearly,
Mhm.
which leads directly to their top recommendation.
Which is
Drink about 480 mils. That's roughly 16 ounces of room temperature water.
room temperature specifically.
Yes, and with a squeeze of about a quarter of a fresh lemon. And here's the key bit. Do this before your coffee, before tea, before any food.
Okay, let's break that down. Why room temperature? I might automatically reach for cold water.
Well, the thinking is cold water can actually make your blood vessels constrict, tighten up a bit.
Ah, okay.
And first thing in the morning, your heart, your brain, they really need good oxygen flow. Constriction is the opposite of what you want. Room temperature water helps things, relax and dilate. Better blood flow.
Makes sense. And the lemon, is it just for taste?
Not really, no. Lemon gives you some natural electrolytes like potassium plus vitamin C.
Okay.
It also has some mild anti-inflammatory properties, might help arteries stay a bit softer, helps regulate blood pressure. It's a gentle boost.
So the big takeaway, first minute awake, before anything else, grab that room temp lemon water.
It seems tiny, but for cardiovascular health, long-term longevity, it's a powerful first step.
It feels like taking control right from the start, choosing to stay active.
Exactly that feeling, being
Ah.
proactive. But hydration, that's just step one. Once you're actually getting out of bed, the next thing is circulation.
Right, the 60-second circulation reset. So after the water, you get up and do this. Why is this quick movement sequence so vital?
Well, when you're lying down all night, gravity does its thing. Blood tends to pool a bit in your legs, your lower body.
Okay.
This means less oxygen might be getting to your brain right away. That can cause that slightly dizzy or unsteady feeling some people get when they stand up.
I've definitely felt that sometimes.
And more seriously, especially for older adults, this sluggish flow increases the risk of blood clots forming. Johns Hopkins research really highlights this issue.
And there's a specific routine recommended. I saw mention of a Dr. Eleanor Thomas.
Yes, a specialist in geriatric circulation. The idea is that a simple sequence can potentially boost blood flow to the brain by maybe up to 40%.
40%, that's huge. Lower stroke risk, more alertness.
Exactly. That's the potential benefit.
So what's the routine? 60 seconds, you said.
Super simple.
Huh?
No equipment needed. You stand tall, feet about shoulder width apart.
Okay.
Breathe in deep and raise both arms straight overhead. Then breathe out slowly as you lower your arms.
Got it.
And then roll your shoulders back 5 times, then forward 5 times.
Okay, easy enough.
And the last part is 10 heel raises. Just lift your heels up, hold briefly, lower slowly.
Heel raises, how do they help circulation?
They act like a little pump. Your calf muscles contract and push that blood from your legs back up towards your heart. It helps counteract that pooling from lying down.
Clever. So it's not just physical, there's a mental boost too.
Absolutely. People report feeling clearer-headed almost instantly, warmer, less groggy.
Fighting off the morning sluggishness.
Exactly. And long-term, you're gently strengthening your cardiovascular system, supporting brain health.
But it's like flipping a switch, telling your body, okay, we're up, we're moving.
That's a great way to put it. Still alive, still capable. So hydration's done, circulation's kickstarted. Next up is fuel.
Which brings us to protein timing. And this seems really specific about when you eat it, especially after 65.
That's the absolute key takeaway here. Getting enough protein daily is important, sure, but for older adults, the timing, especially first thing, is critical.
Why is that morning window so important?
Well, research, including from the National Institute on Aging, shows that between roughly 3 a.m. and 8 a.m., the body actually breaks down muscle protein at a faster rate as we age.
Really? So while you're sleeping?
Yes, it's a catabolic state.
Mhm.
And if you don't provide protein soon after waking, your body needs energy, so it starts breaking down its own muscle tissue.
Wow. Okay, so you're losing muscle mass without even realizing it.
It can be a slow, gradual thing. Even if you eat well later, that morning breakdown still happens if you don't intervene early.
And I recall seeing something from Dr. Rebecca Fleming, a geriatric nutrition expert.
Yes, her findings are pretty striking. Seniors who get about 25 to 30 grams of good quality protein within the first 30 minutes of waking.
Within 30 minutes. Okay.
They experienced potentially up to 64% less muscle loss over 5 years compared to those who skipped breakfast or ate protein much later.
64%. That is a massive difference, just from timing your protein.
It really underscores the importance of that early intake for preserving muscle.
So practically speaking, what's a good way to get 25, 30 grams that quickly?
There are quite a few easy options. A whey protein shake is, super fast and effective.
Right.
Or maybe 4 or 5 egg whites with 1 whole egg. That hits the mark.
Okay.
A cup of Greek yogurt, maybe boost it with a scoop of protein powder.
Good idea. What about non-meat options?
Sure. Soft tofu works. Cottage cheese is great. Or a quality plant-based protein powder like pea and rice blends can be very effective too.
So the real message is, don't just focus on total daily protein. Focus intensely on getting a good dose in those first 30 minutes after wake-up.
Absolutely. It's linked to maintaining strength, flexibility, independence.
Yeah.
It impacts energy, mobility, even things like back pain, because strong core muscles need that protein. It supports cognitive function too.
It really sets a different metabolic stage for the day, protecting muscle.
Exactly. It combats that age-related muscle loss proactively. Okay, so we've covered water, movement, fuel.
Yeah.
What about just general ease of movement?
That takes us to the fourth step, the 90-second mobility sequence. This comes after the circulation reset.
Yeah, ideally right after. Think of it as gently waking up your joints and muscles.
Why is this necessary? I mean, you've just done the circulation bit.
Because after hours of being still, everything gets a bit stiff, right? Joints, muscles,
Yeah.
they're less flexible first thing.
True.
And that stiffness, particularly in older adults, really bumps up the risk of falls, strains, joint injuries.
Okay, that makes sense.
Experts, like orthopedic specialists at the Mayo Clinic, talk about synovial fluid, the stuff that lubricates your joints. It actually gets thicker when you're inactive, like during sleep.
So moving without warming up is like high friction.
Pretty much. You could be causing unnecessary wear and tear over time if you just jump into activity without easing into it.
So this 90-second routine is the gentle warm-up.
Exactly. Low impact, just getting things moving smoothly.
Huh.
You start sitting on the edge of the bed. Rotate your ankles, maybe 10 times clockwise, 10 times counterclockwise.
Yeah.
And little circles with your knees, sitting down, 10 each way.
Gentle joint rotations.
Then stand up. Use support if you need it.
Yeah.
And do some gentle side leans with your upper body, maybe 5 each side. Slow torso twists, left to right. And finish with 10 slow backward shoulder rolls.
That all sounds very doable, under 2 minutes.
It is, and the payoff is significant. Lubricates the joints, reduces that stiff feeling, helps with balance.
And crucially, lowers the risk of falls, especially if you've got maybe existing back or knee issues.
Yes, significantly. It just promotes much more fluid, safer movement right from the start of your day.
90 seconds for potentially avoiding a fall seems like a no-brainer.
Okay, so that's the body covered.
Mhm.
What about the mind? That's the final piece, right?
That's right. Element number 5, a simple mental clarity exercise to get the brain firing on all cylinders.
Because there's this common idea, isn't there, that after 65, some memory loss, some cognitive decline is just inevitable. That's the assumption. But the research we looked at, like from Stanford's Brain Longevity Center, really challenges that. They talk about a golden window in the morning.
Golden window.
Yeah, particularly the first 30 minutes after waking. Your brain seems extra receptive then to forming new neural connections.
Interesting.
It's a prime time for producing something called BDNF, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it like fertilizer for your brain cells.
Yeah.
Really important for health and growth.
So you want to stimulate the brain during that window. Is this about doing like hard puzzles?
Not necessarily, no. The exercise they suggest is surprisingly simple. After you've done the hydration, the movement, the protein, just sit quietly. Close your eyes for about a minute.
Okay.
And mentally try to replay yesterday, but do it in reverse order.
Reverse order, like dinner, then lunch, then breakfast.
Yeah, exactly. Think about dinner, what you did before dinner, lunch, conversations you had, activities where you were. Work backwards through the day.
Huh. That sounds challenging, but simple.
It is. As it gets easier, you can try going back 2 days or add more details. What was the weather like? How did you feel then?
What's the benefit of this specific kind of recall?
Studies suggest exercises like this can help people maintain cognitive functions similar to those maybe 10, even 20 years younger.
Really?
It specifically strengthens short-term memory, and it's thought to actively help prevent or at least delay the onset of dementia.
Wow. So it's a way to actively fight cognitive decline just by the simple daily mental rewind.
Keeping sharp, staying independent, feeling engaged with life. That's the goal.
Okay, let's quickly recap the whole 5-minute routine then. We started with immediate hydration.
Room temperature water, bit of lemon, first minute awake.
Then the 60-second circulation reset, arms up, shoulder rolls, heel raises.
Get that blood moving.
Followed by the protein timing, 25-30 grams within 30 minutes.
Crucial for muscle preservation.
Then the 90-second mobility sequence, gentle joint warm-ups.
Ankles, knees, torso, shoulders. Reduces stiffness, fall risk.
And finally, that mental clarity exercise we're calling yesterday in reverse.
Activating the brain, building resilience.
Taken together, it really does seem like a powerful foundation for a healthier, sharper, more independent life after 65.
Absolutely. Consistency is key, of course, but these 5 steps build on each other.
It's amazing how these small things maybe easily skipped, could be what separates maintaining vitality from, well, becoming more dependent.
The experts really stress that. How you start your day sets the tone, physically and mentally, for the long run.
So for everyone listening, maybe think about trying these out. You don't have to do all 5 tomorrow.
No, maybe pick one. The hydration, perhaps, or the mobility sequence, whichever one feels most doable or necessary for you right now.
And just notice how you feel after a few days, after a week.
That gradual accumulation of small, positive changes can be really profound over time.
And here's something to maybe ponder. How could consciously starting your day like this, tending to your body and mind right away, how could that influence more than just your physical health? How might it change your outlook, your engagement, your potential for growth in the years ahead?